Today on Monkey Life, Alison goes to the rescue of a very old squirrel monkey desperate for a new home.
His whole tail's a bit angry right now, isn't it? Yeah. All the way up to the base.
Paddy's group go mad for mangoes. And news of a weighty new arrival from South Africa.
That degree of obesity does give me problems anaesthetically.
This is Monkey World in Dorset. Tucked away deep in the English countryside, it's the largest sanctuary for apes and monkeys on the planet. Dr. Alison Cronin is the primate's best friend. Alison and her team devote their lives to rescuing and rehabilitating primates from all over the world.
They're all going to have a chance to live proper lives again. Perfect.
Each of the 240 monkeys and apes have their own story, but all are guaranteed a safe home and a better future once they arrive. Within the UK, primates can be bought legally from registered dealers, but sometimes this is not the case, and without specialist care, things can go horribly wrong. Golden-cheeked gibbon Peanut was found when authorities raided the house of an illegal bird smuggler. Gizmo, a capuchin monkey, was rescued by the Monkey World team when they discovered he was being kept in a garden shed in unsatisfactory conditions. And cotton-top tamarins, Uncas and Alice, were discovered during a raid by police and RSPCA inspectors on a puppy farm. But most of the pets that end up at the park are from well-meaning owners who buy a pet monkey and then realise how difficult they are to look after. Today, Alison is on her way to Essex.
This gentleman phoned me only 2 days ago. Has a squirrel monkey that he's kept for more than 20 years, and little male called Fidget. And Fidget has lived all on his own for those 23 years in a cage at the back of his garden centre.
Fidget was bought after his owner saw him in a cage in a pet shop being taunted by children. He thought he could give him a better life.
I contacted Monkey World because he is getting old, and the time is going to come when he's going to need some care. I wanted him to go somewhere where he would be able to spend the last years of his life with people who were in a position to care for him and look after him.
It's taken 20 years, but he realizes now that Fidget really must get professional attention because it's gotten that bad. The monkey's gotten really aggressive, he says, and has started self-mutilating. So Fidget's actually chewing on his tail now.
Monkey World already has 4 elderly female squirrel monkeys who live together in a tree-filled enclosure at the park. Alien, the alpha female, came from a lab. But like Fidget, Topsy, Turvy, and latest addition Samantha were pets in need of a new home. Alison is hoping Fidget will be happy to join them.
Got a whole selection of treats for Fidget this morning, hoping that we'll be able to entice him in. We've got some mango and mealworms and all sorts just to see if we can get him to go into the box willingly. He's never had mango before, so Neil was intrigued, because all of my South American boys love mango.
Later, Alison meets Fidget. But will she be able to catch him? Fidget has led a lonely life as a pet, but at the park, that will all change for the better. All the primates here live in social groups, as they would in the wild. And that's true of all 16 species, from the lemurs and marmosets to the capuchins, orangutans and chimps. The chimps are some of the favourite characters at the park. They're split into 4 groups. Sally is in charge of the nursery group. She acts as an adoptive mother for many of the baby chimps that arrive here. Then there's Hananya. Hananya has been the alpha male of his group for 7 years now and is a very popular leader. Butch is in charge of the mischievous Bachelor Boys. He has a strong personality, but gets on well with the others in his group. And finally, Paddy. Paddy was one of the first residents at the centre. Like quite a number of the chimps, he was rescued from Spain, where he was being used as a photographer's prop. He arrived here more than 20 years ago and now heads up one of the oldest and most established groups in the park. Paddy's respected by the whole troop and has fathered a number of chimps in the group, including son Bart. Today, Paddy's bunch are in for a treat.
We've had a huge donation of lots of lovely fruits. We've got some oranges and mangoes here. We've actually frozen some of them, so we're going to put some frozen fruits and some fresh ones in Paddy's this morning. This is a massive treat for them. They're not going to be able to contain themselves.
The eagle-eyed chimps can't believe their luck. Paddy's group have never seen so much fruit and can't quite work out what to do with it all, or how to carry it. Low-ranking Gamba seems to have forgotten group etiquette when he starts goading leader Paddy. But Paddy has his hands full. No one's going to mess with his mangoes. Bixa, one of the higher-ranking females, sees Gamba off. Meanwhile, Paddy's son Bart seems to have missed out and is trying to persuade Zoe, who's usually a soft touch, to part with some of her fruit. In their natural habitat, chimps will take advantage of a fruiting tree and eat as much as they can before anyone else gets to it. So, occasionally giving them an abundance of any one fruit like this replicates life in the wild. And Gamba's determined to make the most of it. Now, he's pursuing Zoe. Bart and his sister Eddie are really pushing their luck with Aunt Cindy. They'd never normally get away with this. But she decides to give in just this once. And waste not, want not, Bart's found a new toy. Alison has arrived in Essex. Neil says his elderly squirrel monkey Fidget has become aggressive and started chewing his tail. He's asked Alison to take Fidget back to Monkey World.
Thank you.
But first, Alison needs to gain Fidget's trust.
Hello, Fidget.
Look what I've got, little man. Look what I've got.
These are the best mealworms in the world.
Look at this, Fidget. Good boy.
Do you want some more? Come on, then. Come and have some. Hi, you. Hi, you, little man. You gonna come up on my knee? Excellent job. Oh, that was a big... I know, there's more than... Okay. You can possibly eat. Good boy. Okay, he does have a spot on the... Yeah, his whole tail's a bit angry right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
All the way up to the base.
Squirrel monkeys come from Central and South America. They're found in tropical lowland rainforests throughout the Amazon basin. They're very sociable animals living in large groups of between 30 and 60 monkeys. Their tails are important because they help them balance and leap through the trees.
Yeah, it's not bad.
To get Fidget back to the park, Alison needs to somehow tempt him into the cage.
Good boy.
In.
Well done. That was very good. I'm impressed. Thank you, Alison.
We've done this before.
Go to a nice new home, Fidget, and they'll look after you. Then we'll come and visit.
Done the right thing.
Hard as it is the right thing. I think the future would not have been too bright here.
It's a wrench for Neil, who's done his best for Fidget over the years. But he knows Fidget needs to be with other squirrel monkeys, and Monkey World is the perfect place for him to live out his life and get the care he needs. It's just a shame he didn't contact the park earlier. In human terms, Fidget is an old man now. Alison is just arriving back at the park with Monkey World's latest addition, a squirrel monkey called Fidget.
Little concerned that he keeps this left hand usually clenched up tight. He doesn't use it a whole lot, but it's not bad. And that tail's a mess. Let's get him inside to the warm.
The park's vet, Mike Nathan, meets all the new arrivals to give them a health check.
Let's get him in.
To have a good look at Fidget, Mike is going to need to anaesthetize him for a short while. So as not to upset him, he decides to do this while he's still in the cage. Veterinary nurse Penny will monitor him throughout.
As soon as he's slightly dopey, we'll have him out and put a mask on him and just want to quickly check through his physical condition and things. And just microchip.
He might not be chipped. I'm not sure.
Is he supposed to be chipped, Alison?
I don't believe he is. He has not been touched for 22 years.
All the primates are microchipped so they can be accurately identified.
22 and 10.
Mike is taking blood samples to make sure Fidget is not suffering from any disease his owner Neil was unaware of. Mike and Alison are both worried about Fidget's tail, which he seems to have chewed and also bitten the end off.
Right.
It's that tail that's a problem and getting the chronic infection and behavior that goes with that infection under control.
Penny and I were discussing this beforehand and tempted to perhaps put him on some Metacam as an anti-inflammatory. We've got a little wound there. That's obviously where it's healed over. So with luck, it will do on its own. So much depends on how he behaves here.
There are risks to being under anaesthetic, and Mike is keen for Fidget not to be under any longer than he needs to be.
He's a good boy.
Toby and Donna will go and get him settled in some separate bedrooms now until we get the results of his blood tests back. We wouldn't want to mix him with our 4 ladies that we know are fit and healthy.
Toby and Donna are members of the primate care staff. It'll be their job to make sure Fidget settles into his new home as quickly as possible.
Wind out, Toby's coming back towards you. Good boy, Fidget.
The anaesthetic has made him a little groggy.
Taking a light gas and air anesthetic does make a person feel not top of the day. That's true. Now he's just starting to climb around and investigate because he's sort of finally got it in his head that this isn't so scary. And he's looking quite bright and interested. So as soon as we get the all clear on his blood tests and fecal tests, we'll get him straight down with the ladies. And then it really should be a rapid progression into turning this guy right around into a relatively young, lively squirrel monkey. even though he's a senior citizen.
None of the primates at the park are native to the UK. They have no problems adapting to the climate, but every now and again, they need a helping hand.
Hello, girls.
Today, Animal Director Jeremy Keeling is making a special visit to the orangutan nursery.
Come on, girls. Come and get your oil. Here's a good girl. I'm just trying to get oil onto these guys because their skin gets so dry, particularly in the summer. And we do this little trade-off here. Oil for treats.
The oil helps keep their skin supple and their hair in good condition.
Come on.
Linga is happy to be bribed, as is the youngest orangutan, Dinda.
Never mind, eh?
There's double trouble when Dinda's sister Xiao Ning joins in.
Get out. Look at this. I've been mugged. Nobody loved me for my grapes.
Ever-confident Jolie decides it's easier to help herself.
Excuse me? Some of them usually like a drink of it as well. Just a little bit. In your mouth. Good girl. There's a good girl. Is that what you wanted? Is that what you were saying all along? You've got enough on you now. You're oiled. You're basted just enough. Right, we're going now.
But these happy-go-lucky orangs, led by foster mother Ah Mei, are about to have a rude awakening. There's soon to be a new arrival who will almost certainly throw her weight around. "6,000 miles away in South Africa, living in the lap of luxury, is a 13-year-old orangutan called Oshine. She's been kept as a pet by her owner Brenda since she was a baby. Brenda has loved her and given her everything she wants. She's treated her like a child, and Oshine even walks upright. In Brenda's house, Oshine rules the roost. Whatever she wants, she takes.
That's the dog's food. That's the mother's food, sis, man. Come. Of course it's Puffy. Let's go. What do you want? Yeah. Okay, here's your custard. Let's go.
As a result, she's put on a lot of weight and is now obese.
When she's eating, that's all she worries about. If she could eat all day, she would eat all day.
Recently, Brenda has realised Oshine needs the company of other orangutans. She also knows she won't be around forever to look after her and wants to make sure she'll be cared for.
I just want her to be happy. I want her to be with her own kind, and I'd like her to have her own family, a baby of her own, and start living like an orangutan.
Brenda has been looking for a new home for Oshine. She recently saw an episode of Monkey Life and decided that Monkey World would be the perfect place for her.
Ah, clever girl. Ah, clever girl.
So she's flown over from her home in Johannesburg to take a look around. After discussing the logistics of Oshine's move with Alison, Brenda is then introduced to Oshine's future housemates by Mike, a member of the primate care staff.
So, right, Brenda, this is the big enclosure for our orangs here. Oh, hello! It's my boy. He's a good lad, aren't you?
Oshine's never been with another orangutan.
Yeah. One of the things that Oshine will have to learn is that at the moment she's used to, if she has any food or a blanket, if she puts it down, it's going to be there when she comes back. Well, if she does that when she's living with the group, it's going to be stolen from her.
It hasn't been decided which of the park's 3 orangutan groups Oshine will join. Eventually, it's hoped she will mate, but because of her weight, that won't be possible immediately, so she may join Linga and Dinda in the nursery group first.
I think she would be very happy.
That's
I
good.
think she would have to come and look after the baby because she loves anything small.
Oh, that's good. So you think that if she becomes pregnant that she would look after a baby?
I think so.
It's going to be hard for Brenda to say goodbye to Oshine, but she knows it's for the best.
I don't mind. As long as this child of mine is happy,
She
that's
will be.
all that matters in my life.
She'll be very happy.
But transporting such an overweight orangutan won't be straightforward.
At least like 1 year.
Alison and Jeremy take advice from wildlife vet John Lewis.
Any issues or thoughts about her transport?
Well, the first thing is you've got to get her into the crate, where there are issues there for a start. And aesthetically, she's not going to walk into a crate.
She might. She's very malleable and involved in every aspect of daily life, from getting in and out of the car to going and playing with the animal crates for, say, the giraffe or the zebras or whatever it is.
I mean, if she walk into a box, then there's not an issue. But if she won't walk into a box, a crate, then she's going to need anaesthetising to get her in there. And that degree of obesity does give me problems anaesthetically.
Okay.
I wouldn't want her to go down, fall asleep.
Yeah, okay.
She vomits, she's history.
Yeah.
Next time on Monkey Life. Alison and the team are in South Africa to meet Oshine. But it's Jeremy who ends up being locked in the crate.
See, everything's going according to plan here.
Today on Monkey Life. The team are in South Africa preparing to transport a very overweight orangutan back to the UK.
First, she will be angry, and she will protest.
But it's Jeremy who gets locked in the crate.
See, everything's going according to plan here.
And the Bachelor Boys are having a duvet day. Monkey World is based in the English county of Dorset. It's home to more than 240 monkeys and apes and is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. Alison Cronin and her team rescue and rehabilitate primates from all over the world.
Everybody's brilliant. Really good.
Today, they're travelling 6,000 miles to South Africa to meet an orangutan living near Johannesburg. These luxurious surroundings are home to 13-year-old Oshine. Oshine is the apple of her owner Brenda's eye. She got her from a safari park in Indonesia and has looked after her since she was a baby.
Just came in, I sat down and I spoke to her a little bit. And then she came and she sat in my lap. And that was it. Love at first sight.
Brenda has treated Oshine like one of her own children.
I had to bath her. I had to make sure she had her formula. It was exactly like looking after a little baby. And nappies, huggies. Had to make sure she had naps every afternoon. Put her to bed with her teddy bears. It was wonderful.
But with only humans for company, Oshine has never learnt how to live as an orangutan.
I tried very hard to keep her as an orangutan, but she became human imprinted. When she saw everybody walking upright, one day she got up and walked.
As she's got older, Oshine's become stronger and difficult to discipline. She eats anything she can get her hands on and is now dangerously obese.
Can I have the biscuits, please? Time for Mama. I'm trying to put on diet. It's not easy because she's terribly spoilt. You know, some of the staff just give her sweeties through the window. I don't allow her to have Coke anymore.
Oshine can do no wrong. Brenda loves to entertain her, and she's even allowed to drive.
You want to come up here? She was so spoiled, she knew Mummy would let her do things, so she just carried on doing.
Like all orangs, Oshine is highly intelligent and into everything.
Come to Mum. Come, let's go.
Now a teenager, Oshine has become harder to handle. And Brenda has realised she needs to find her a new home before it's too late.
You know, I'm not young anymore. Anything can happen to me. What about her? So I think it's time to let go. Although it's killing me, but I have to think of her and to stop being selfish.
Brenda recently saw an episode of Monkey Life and loved the park so much she got in touch with Alison and flew over for a visit.
I went up to Monkey World, very, very impressed. And that's where she's going now, to live a good life with her own type.
Alison, animal director Jeremy Keeling and wildlife vet John Lewis are nearing the end of their mammoth journey.
We've just landed in South Africa and we're on our way out to meet Oshine for the very first time at Brenda's home, so we're all really excited.
Welcome, welcome. How's it, darling? Is this a lot of you?
Good to see you again.
This trip has been months in the planning.
Come on, Oshine. Hey, you missus.
Before the team can attempt to transport Oshine back to Monkey World, they have to gain her trust.
Remember, I was telling you. That's Jeremy, darling.
And it's going to be down to Jeremy to create a special bond with her.
She's quite a lovely, reasonable person, actually. I mean, we always knew that she had a weight issue, but you know what? It's not that bad, and she's young, and I'm impressed how active she is, even with her size. And I would have thought that she would be a lot lazier than she is. I'm sure she's still gonna crave her sweets and junk food, but you know, she'll have to get used to loving her lettuce and celery and that kind of thing. With just a normal diet, not a reduced diet, but just a normal diet that we feed our orangutans, that weight's gonna fall off of her.
While Oshine is savouring her last marshmallows, back at Monkey World, a healthy and nutritious breakfast is being prepared for the orangs there.
Well, a mixture of fruits, all different varieties. We've got some strawberries, we've got some oranges, and we've got some mango. And I'm just throwing them out for these guys because they do like their fruit a lot.
The staff scatter the fruit to give the orangs some exercise. They're naturally quite sedate primates and don't move around unless they really have to. But it's amazing what a spurt Amy can put on when there's food around. Like Oshine, Amy is short and stout and prone to weight gain, just like some humans. So the staff are more careful with her diet. Lucky and Roro, on the other hand, have catwalk figures. Being tall and slender, they don't have to worry so much about what they eat.
Once the food's gone, they're just going to go and sit down and be orangutans and stare at the world again. So it's short and sweet little burst of enthusiasm before finally, oh, it's all gone and we'll just watch the world go by.
There are 3 orangutan groups at Monkey World. Tuan is the leader of this group, and may end up being a mate for Oshine, once she's lost some weight. Tuan arrived at the park nearly 10 years ago. He was captured in Taiwan after he was found wandering loose in Taichung City. Although no one knows for sure, it's likely that Tuan was smuggled from the wild as a baby and kept as an illegal pet until he escaped. It was a major operation bringing him back to Monkey World, but he's settled in well and has now fathered 3 babies at the park. Xiaoning, Kai, and Dinda. In South Africa, the crate that carried Tuan to Monkey World has arrived for Oshine. Alison reckons she's roughly the same weight, so it should be strong enough, although no one will know for sure until she's weighed at the airport.
I'm pretty confident. This box carried Tuan all the way from Taiwan, which was a 24-hour journey. And we've even beefed it up a bit since Tuan was inside, so I'm pretty happy. Jeremy thinks it's no problem.
I've seen.
Brenda tries Oshine's crate out for size.
Yeah, she can make a nest, she can turn around.
There's a big window in this door.
I think that there's enough room. What do you think, Brenda?
I'm very comfortable. That should be fine. Yeah. Bless her. She'll be fine.
The team are still not sure how they're going to get Oshine into the crate. If they can't tempt her in, they'll have to anaesthetise her. But John is reluctant to do that because of the health risks.
When you knock them down, when you anaesthetise them, there's so much extra weight pressing on the diaphragm. It stops the lungs expanding. So their respiration is rather poor. And I haven't known actually to stop. So what we don't want is sedation. But what we do want is to remove anxiety during, a flight, which is going to cause a degree of anxiety.
So, to try and calm her in the days leading up to her flight, Oshine's having a nutritional supplement. John has asked Brenda to mix it in with Oshine's jelly, one of her favourite treats.
Time for Mummy that. Give it. Thank you.
There's no doubt that Brenda has doted on Oshine over the years. But keeping an orangutan like this and bringing her up almost as a human is virtually unheard of. Alison believes having a primate as a pet always ends in disaster.
Oshine had started out as a tiny infant with her and, very adorable, and Brenda loved her very much and cared for her like one of her own children. But, of course, she grew up, and as these apes grow up, they become strong, overbearing, opinionated, and in the case of most primates, if you're keeping them in a very unnatural human setting, they start becoming aggressive and out of sorts, and that was starting to show with Oshine.
Careful.
Oshine's now reached adolescence. She needs to find a mate. All of those instincts are natural and inborn in her, and as she comes into adulthood, it doesn't matter how much attention Brenda showers upon her. Oshine has other needs, and that's to find a mate and have companionship with other orangutans.
Jeremy is still trying to gain Oshine's trust. He has a special relationship with orangutans, and if anyone can succeed, he can. Over the years, he's hand-reared several at Monkey World, including Amy, who he still has an amazing bond with to this day. And her son Gordon, who he looked after immediately after he was born. All the orangs love him. But Oshine hasn't made up her mind about Jeremy and is still testing him.
You're so ticklish, aren't you?
It may look like he's playing with Oshine, but he's trying to let her know, in a very friendly way, that he's in charge. Maybe he's taking things a bit too quickly, though. Alison and her team are in South Africa, preparing to transport 13-year-old Oshine back to Monkey World. The time has come to introduce Oshine to the crate which will be used to carry her to her new home.
What's this? Well, this is pretty. Let Mummy go inside.
Ideally, they want her to climb in of her own accord to avoid having to anaesthetise her.
Mummy's sitting here. Look, Oshine, come look here.
They're trying to turn it into a play session, but Oshine can't work out what all the fuss is about.
What are you doing, darling? Come sit here with Mum. Hello. Come sit with Mum. Sit nicely.
Finally, she decides to give it a go, but she's careful to keep a grip on the outside. Jeremy is definitely making progress with Oshine, but she's still a little wary. He plays with her to lighten the mood.
We've got to establish a hierarchy here. Yes, we do. I don't care what you say.
It's going to take several play sessions for Oshine to get used to the crate. For an orangutan who would normally live in a Bornean rainforest, Oshine has grown up in very unusual surroundings. At Brenda's ranch, she's lived with a variety of wild animals, but never with her own species.
For Oshine, there's no doubt in my mind that Monkey World is the very best place for her to come to, because not only do we have 3 different groups of orangutans, we're used to dealing with very unique circumstances with individuals that come effectively with baggage. They've been kept in very unique and bizarre situations, and it's what we do at the park. We look at each individual and work with them in order to rehabilitate them back into a more natural living situation.
It's time for another visit to the crate, with one small change. Jeremy has added a door.
There we are. Pull it. Okay,
She has her own way.
We've just put the door in now to see if she, obviously when she goes in, the door's got to be closed behind her, so she's now got to familiarise her with the door.
Clever girl.
A bag of peanuts. As long as it involves food, bribery always works with Oshine.
Good girl. She's feeling really quite comfortable and happy in there, which is exactly what we wanted. So I think she already gets it.
I'm devastated at her game, but now that I see how she's likes Alison and Jeremy, I'm feeling a lot better.
And she loves playing with Jeremy, as you can see. Oh, is he going in? So really, it's a case now, we want to keep the balance. We don't want to do it so many times that she gets bored of it, and then on the day that we need to move her, it's no fun anymore.
It's hoped when Oshine arrives at the park, her relationship with Jeremy will continue to grow. But at the moment, that looks in doubt.
See, everything's going according to plan here, as usual.
Who's in charge now? Later, the fun and games are over. It's D-Day for Oshine. While Oshine is playing with Jeremy, thousands of miles away, there's lots of fun and games going on at Monkey World too. The staff are constantly trying to keep the primates busy, and today, Butch's group, better known as the Bachelor Boys, have been given a variety of bedding for some afternoon fun. Ben is interested in the blankets, but he's in no rush and finds a leisurely way of heading down to investigate. Sammy, on the other hand, is straight in there, favouring the blue blanket. Ben is the youngest and newest member of the group, but he shows he's already feeling at home with the bachelors by going straight for a pillowcase. Low-ranking Seamus isn't interested in blankets, but is definitely up for playing with his old pal Ben from nursery days. However, Ben decides he's much more interested in his bedding. Alpha male Butch and Jester, his number 2, watch what's going on, but aren't terribly impressed. Joint second-in-command Buxom knows that as a high ranker, he can have whatever he wants and go wherever he wants. So he heads up high with his blanket collection for some me time. Sammy's now decided that red is maybe more his colour. While Buxom's got his hands full, Ben cheekily pinches his blue towel. Just one more blanket and time for a snooze. Watch out, Buxom's about. Just as Ben is nice and cosy with his nest of bedding, Buxom gets his own back by creeping up and nabbing Ben's biggest blanket. And while he's up, he'll have these two as well. This is Oshine's last day in South Africa.
But I'll be okay.
Yeah, you will.
I'll be okay.
Within hours, she'll be boarding a flight to the UK. Everyone at the airport is expecting her, but the big question is, can Jeremy persuade her to climb into the crate, or will she need to be anaesthetised?
Well, we've got everything sorted, and it's about time to go, really. You know, she's a little bit agitated because she hasn't had her normal routine this morning. You know, she's waiting for her breakfast, and we've not given her anything in case walking her into the box willingly doesn't work out. John's all ready and prepared to give her an anaesthetic, so really, she can't have a full belly of food. So she's a bit pissed off because she hasn't had her breakfast.
We've had playtime. She's okay. Obviously, something's not quite normal because the waitress hasn't delivered the food as normal, which is not good. But apart from that, everything's fine.
She's starting to get a little bit edgy, you know, even with Jeremy here. It's all nice and she respects him and so on, but she's not happy. She's not had breakfast. Everybody's mucking about and she's, you know, a bit. That's why I'm keeping my distance here, because she has zero respect for me, and that's okay. You don't need to. But this is your man and you got to listen to him. You're a good girl. I know. I know. See, she's trying to look around behind me to see what I might have in my pockets or if I've got any snacks or treats. And I don't have anything. I'm really boring today.
Today's the big day, but as far as Oshine's concerned, it's another play session.
There we go.
But everyone else is on tenterhooks. She seems impressed by the blankets and wood wool the team have put in the crate for her journey.
We'll go here. You go, Puddin'.
And can't resist taking a closer look. This is all part of the plan. But will she fall for it?
But see what you think.
She isn't easily fooled. She still has a firm grip on the outside world.
She's got a foot ready to...
If Jeremy doesn't act quickly, their whole plan could fall apart.
Hey, what's that doing there? Just put that in there. Is that right?
Game over. For John, it's a massive relief.
Well, I mean, this couldn't be better. It means I don't have to use tranquilizers or anesthetics. I'm happy as a clam.
Next time on Monkey Life, there's panic at the airport.
But we go to customs release.
I don't know if the customs release there.
Customs office closes in 15 minutes.
Will Oshine be allowed to board? And in Paddy's group, cheeky youngster Bart hitches a lift. Today on Monkey Life, overweight orangutan Oshine's long journey home hits some unexpected problems.
Without a clearance certificate, Oshine can't get on that 20:08 flight.
Over at Paddy's enclosure, cheeky son Bart is finding his own transportation. And Amy's capuchins get to grips with some frozen fruit. This is Monkey World in Dorset. Founded in 1987, it's become the largest sanctuary of its kind. Dr. Alison Cronin heads up the team who rescue and rehabilitate primates from all over the world.
You're not gonna let me go? Are you not gonna let me go?
It's now home to more than 240 monkeys and apes from 16 different species. Some of the most popular primates in the park are the orangutans. There are 3 different groups at Monkey World. 2 adult groups, led by Gordon, Antoine, and the nursery group, overseen by foster mum Armée. Today, it's playtime. Armée has been here since 2004 and discovered her natural place was with the young ones. In the wild, orangutans tend to be solitary, but babies can stay with their mothers for up to 7 years, and Armée is a fantastic mum to all the young ones, teaching them all they need to know. She's the boss and the only adult in the group, but not for much longer. Oshine, a 13-year-old orangutan living near Johannesburg, is about to join Armée and the others at Monkey World. She lives with Brenda, who adores Oshine, but has treated her like a child and given her everything she wants. With very little exercise and far too much food, Oshine has developed a serious weight problem. Now Oshine is reaching adulthood, Brenda has decided it's time to let go.
Although it's killing me, but I have to think of her and to stop being selfish.
Alison and her team are in South Africa to collect Oshine.
Hey, you miss
Oshine is very overweight. She's put on way too much weight, and that is a medical issue for an orangutan. She can have diabetes, high blood pressure, all of those things, because they suffer from all of the same medical conditions that human beings do.
Oshine's weight is potentially hazardous on such a long trip, and the team are reluctant to tranquilise her for the flight. Animal director Jeremy spent days bonding with Oshine to encourage her into the crate on her own. Luckily, his hard work paid off. Now, the journey begins.
Mummy's here, darling.
Today is a very difficult day for Brenda and her family. But Russell, Brenda's son, feels it's the right decision.
She deserves to be with her own kind, to start her own family. She's always broody. You know, children come along and she grabs them and mothers them, and I know she's really going to be upset, but it's for the good of Oshine.
13 years is a long time. But as long as she's happy, that's the main thing.
Alison grabs some vital supplies for Oshine.
Dehydration on such a long flight is the big issue. Quite frankly, Oshine needn't eat for days, but she must drink. We've really done everything we can for Oshine to make her journey as smooth as possible.
She's even got a little dinner plate.
She likes her dinner plates.
No, you're going to go for a drive.
The team are off on the first part of a mammoth 27-hour journey from Johannesburg to Monkey World. Before the long flight, the team stop for a quick bite to eat.
One large chips for Oshine.
Look, here's Jeremy, darling. Look.
Even at the drive-thru, Oshine is the centre of attention. But so far, she seems to be taking everything in her stride.
No, she seems to be quite happy on the journey. She's eating, drinking.
She's fine. You're a mess. I'm a mess. She's fine.
Blow, darling, blow.
Of course, when there's food around, Oshine refuses to miss out.
Blow. You don't have to blow.
She wants the good stuff.
Sorry, she wants
No,
the
she
burger.
wants all of it. Okay. I will surrender my burger. For this trip, no problem. We'll make her happy. It's Diet Coke, that one.
It's the last time Oshine will be eating fast food. When she gets to the park, she'll be on a strict health kick. Because it's nothing but fresh fruit and veg all round for the residents of Monkey World. Over at the capuchin enclosure, Amy and her gang are in for a treat.
This morning we're down at the female capuchins. We're about to give Amy's group capuchins some frozen fruit today. It's quite a nice hot day, so it'd be really nice for them. There's a lot of younger ones in here. They're quite curious with new things, so it'll be a good challenge for them as well.
So, how on earth will they crack open the frozen fruit? Well, capuchins usually find a way. Fiona's straight in there with a frozen apple and some impressive banging action. Elvira goes for the orange. Oh, and clever Fiona's bashing it against the post, hoping the metal bolt will crack it open quicker. And Emily's seeing if gravity will do the job for her. The pineapple completely stumps Frida and Marcy. Fiona looks like she's enjoying the orange, but clever Elisa comes at it from a different angle. Cara's got a strawberry and just can't contain her excitement. In their natural habitat, capuchins are incredibly inquisitive and use their intelligence to work out how to get into the most fiddly of food sources. They use a variety of techniques: bashing, cracking or smashing, until they succeed. In the wild, they use large rocks as anvils and will even think ahead and carry rocks to these anvils to crack open their lunch. This frozen fruit both cools them down and encourages natural behaviour, just like they'd be doing in the wild. And top marks for perseverance, Emily. She tries the apple on the banana, the apple on the log, the apple on the rock, and the rock on the apple, and cleverly decides to let it thaw for a while. Over in South Africa, the team from Monkey World and overweight orangutan Oshine are arriving at the airport ready to board the flight to the UK.
There are some procedures for an animal coming into UK. Rabies quarantine. This shows that she's got all of the official documents to be moved to UK. So just the final bits and pieces, really.
She's getting a little bit agitated, but I think she'll have a good trip because I think she's going to sleep all the way because she's tired. It's just that she doesn't know what's going on now. Hi.
This is the cargo handling agent, so she will babysit Oshine's papers through the customs to leave South Africa, dotting all of those I's and crossing all of those T's, and this is the final bit of paperwork to get her on the plane.
But it seems there is a problem.
I don't have the customs to leave. I have to put everything in the system.
Well, let's go to customs now before there's no one there.
They've just found out they need to go to customs. But that might not be easy.
The customs office closes in 15 minutes. 4:30, they say.
Got it to 5.
All right. 15 minutes ago.
Basically what's happened is we're supposed to get a customs clearance certificate to release the cargo, being Oshine. Customs closed 20 minutes ago. Our agent didn't inform us that we needed to be here prior to customs closing. We thought we had the documentation. And without a clearance certificate, Oshine can't get on that 8:20 flight. So Alison's gone through to try to resolve that.
This is not good news. Oshine's health is a major concern on this trip. If she gets stressed or has to wait too long, this may have serious implications on her ability to travel.
Let's just hope we can sort it. I'm sure someone's going to come to the realization it's live cargo, so someone's going to have to do something.
Alison and Jeremy are on the way back from South Africa with orangutan Oshine. This 6,000-mile journey from Johannesburg to Monkey World is potentially dangerous because she's so overweight. The team are anxious to get her on the plane as soon as possible, but they've hit a problem. A form needs to be signed by customs before Oshine can leave the country.
My heart's pounding. It's coming to the end of the day now, and everybody in the customs office leaves early at the end of the day, and the agents that we had said, that's okay, maybe we go tomorrow. No, we can't go tomorrow.
It's an anxious wait as Alison pleads with the customs team. But with minutes to spare, customs find an official who agrees to process the forms.
That was close. That was really close.
Now she's clear to fly, it's time to weigh Oshine. Just how much extra will she add to the 300-kilo crate?
Oshine weighs about 100 kilos. Well, I estimated at 80, so I was the highest bidder, and I'm still under. Yeah.
100 kilos is more than twice the average weight of a female orangutan. Like very overweight humans, it's potentially dangerous for her to fly. But wildlife vet John is happy with how well Oshine is handling the journey so far.
She hasn't been tranquilizing. She's relatively calm, as much as she can be, given all the changing circumstances around her. But no, this is very good.
She's going to be ready for sleep just at the right moment.
I just wish, I always say this, every time we do this, I wish I could explain it to her. No problem, have a nice sleep, we'll see you tomorrow morning.
For Brenda, this is goodbye.
I'll be fine. Oh, it's just for 30 years. And now she's going. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life.
All the team can do now is get on the flight, knowing that they've done everything they can to ensure Oshine is ready for her journey. It'll be an anxious 11 hours until they land at Heathrow. Oshine's not the only one with cabin fever.
Hananya's group are inside at the moment, and that's because we're doing some very important work in the outside enclosure. We're actually replacing the overhang, and it's something that we've wanted to do for a while. They've been inside now 2 weeks, and it's likely that it might be another 2 weeks before they can go back out.
Hananya's group can usually be found playing in a large 2-acre enclosure full of exciting slides and a climbing frame. Perfect for a group of rowdy teenagers to let off steam and keep them busy. So how do you keep 18 young, excitable, energetic chimps entertained for 3 weeks?
Keep things moving, keep things interested. You obviously don't want big conflicts because there's not as much room for the lower ranking animals to get out of the way. So that's been the big challenge.
Luckily, the care staff know exactly what makes Hananya's group tick.
They really enjoy the outside enclosure, but they're also a group that are very responsive to staff, so we give them lots more one-to-one time, and Simon's having lots of one-to-one training sessions, having his teeth brushed, which he loves. You know, we're just upping all those kind of activities, and at the moment, you know, there's been no problems, and they've been really good.
While one chimp group are stuck inside, over at Paddy's enclosure, baby Bart is making the most of the great outdoors. Bart is now 3 years old, so his white tuft that all baby chimps have from birth has nearly gone. He won't have much longer to twist everyone round his little finger, but today he's taking full advantage of being the youngest in the group by using their 2-acre enclosure to hitch lifts off anyone who'll oblige. First, a piggyback from Mum Susie. Next, even Bixer, one of the dominant females, is happy to give him a ride. Dad Paddy, who as the alpha male should be a tough, hard guy, shows that when it comes to son Bart, even he can be a bit of a softie. Not everyone is prepared to indulge him. Bart seeks out Sister Eddie. But Eddie's found some food and is definitely not playing. Bart gives up on Eddie, and when the rain starts to fall, he heads for Auntie Cindy. And of course, everyone likes a bit of a cuddle. Alison and her team have safely landed at Heathrow and are anxiously waiting to see how Oshine is after her 11-hour journey.
Fantastic flight, really smooth and lovely the whole way. It's now early morning. Just can't wait to see her. I see the animal reception van over there waiting to take her off. She'll be one of the first people off. Probably make it back over to the airport before we do, so really exciting. It was a good flight. She seemed really calm, so I'm hoping that everything's just perfect. So, a bit emotional.
As soon as they can, Alison and Jeremy check on their precious cargo.
Hello, missus. Hey, there's a hand poking out. You want to come say hi, Jeremy? Just giving her my packet of nuts from the flight. Good girl. She's good. She's looking a little bit tired and, you know, a bit of wood wool in her hair, but quite frankly, I'm feeling the same, so, but no, she's up and alert and she looks brilliant.
Alison makes a quick call to the team at Monkey World, who are anxiously waiting for news.
Yeah, she's perfect. Actually, we just opened the little sliding hatch and the hand came out for my bag of peanuts. So they're just unloading her at the quarantine center right now.
So Alison heads back to Dorset. Meanwhile, at Heathrow, not everything is peaceful in the quiet room.
Somebody in their wisdom decided to put Oshine in the quiet room. Well, obviously that wasn't the place for Oshine, so she's moved herself. We pulled her back a couple of times, but now we're just letting her go for a walk around the establishment, so she's ready to go home. In fact, she's going to take herself home. She's also testing my welding.
Yet again, there's a hold-up with the paperwork, so Jeremy and Oshine might be stuck there for a while.
There's always some bureaucracy that basically the only thing that holds things up.
And the wait goes on, and on, and on. But luckily, Jeremy has a few tricks up his sleeve to keep Oshine entertained.
All the dogs in this place have toys. We've raided all those. Yeah, just feed me with Tic Tacs. Well, I'll lay back here like Caligula. She's read the paper. Here you go, puppet. Here you go, you can read that. She's read about 3 magazines now. Oh yeah, we've got, just looking at the properties here. She can't find a pen, so she can't do the crossword.
After 2 papers, 3 magazines, and many hours of waiting, it's finally time to get Oshine ready for the last leg of her journey to Monkey World. And it takes every member of staff available to move 100-kilo Oshine and her 300-kilo box onto the forklift truck. As they start their journey, Alison is busy getting everything ready for Oshine's arrival at Monkey World.
We're all lined up. We've got everything taped off for you. George just sat at the fork truck. It's looking good in the bedrooms.
And the orangutans know there's something in the air.
Ame's shaking her head. She knows something's up. The little ones are all lined up on the fence looking over. They're just around the corner now, so we're just waiting for them to roll in, and it's the final leg.
The team use a specially adapted forklift to lift Oshine and the crate into the doorway of her new home. The staff are standing by to meet the infamous orangutan. Jeremy and Oshine have well and truly bonded, so to reassure her, he goes into her new home first.
All right, here she comes.
Hello, darling. How you doing? Come on. Come on, darling. Come on.
After 27 hours of travelling, Oshine is at last in her new home.
You've done it?
She seems to like her new bedroom and has a good look around. For now, she'll live on her own until the team decides she's ready to join Ame and the nursery group.
She just eyeballed Ame across the way, so already her interest is constant. I know, I'm not going to open that for you. No, sorry, missus. I know. No. She's also working her way around testing every bolt. There you go, that's her sort of letting them know that she's here. Ame's down there looking at her. I'm impressed that Ame's not calling back or issuing her own threats, because after all, this is Ame's house.
This is the first time in her life that Oshine has met other orangutans.
We'll see if we can do a meeting with Ame and Jeremy gets to supervise the handbags at dawn. I don't fancy that job myself.
Next time on Monkey Life, Oshine keeps the staff on their toes with her DIY skills.
She started dismantling the enclosure.
And there's some exciting news for Paquita in the woolly monkey house.
She's suddenly put on a good 2 kilos, and it just suggests that there's something going on there.
Today on Monkey Life, there's some exciting news at the woolly monkey house.
The baby's moving, so that's about as sure we can be that she's healthy and things are going well.
New arrival Oshine has an eventful first night in her new home.
She took down the cat flap and then she used that material to break the camera. So dear.
And Hananya's gang go nuts when they're released into their revamped outside enclosure. This is Monkey World. Nestled deep in the English countryside, it's home to more than 240 monkeys and apes from 16 different species. Dr. Alison Cronin and her team dedicate their lives to rescuing and rehabilitating primates from all over the world, giving many a second chance to live a happy and fulfilling life. Monkey World is predominantly a rescue centre, but it does breed a handful of species which are endangered. Among them are woolly monkeys. Woolly monkeys are found in South America in the forests of Brazil, Peru, Ecuador and Colombia. In the next 45 years, world populations of woolly monkeys are expected to decline by up to 80%. Woolly monkeys are notoriously difficult to breed in captivity, but Monkey World has been very successful. It's the only place in the world at the moment where woolly monkey numbers have been increasing. There are 13 woolly monkeys at the park, split into 2 groups. And headed up by alpha males Bueno and Lavar. Over the last 10 years, Monkey World has successfully bred 9 babies, possibly with 2 more on the way. Urema is roughly 4 months pregnant and so far is doing very well. And over at Lavar's woolly group, there's more exciting news. Paquita is pregnant and it looks like she could give birth pretty soon.
Come on, miss.
Primate care staff member Holly is keeping a close eye on her.
So far we've felt a little pair of knees, we've felt what we think is a head, and each day all these little lumps are in a slightly different position, so we're confident that she's pregnant, not just overweight, and we're happy that the baby's moving, so that's about as sure we can be that she's healthy and things are going well. This is just a syringe of yoghurt. Paquita is particularly keen on yoghurt, so it's a nice treat for her to cooperate with us. Also, she has to be very close to the mesh to drink it, so it gives us a good chance to feel her stomach.
All the primates at Monkey World are taught to present different parts of their bodies to the keepers in return for treats. This allows the staff to carry out vital health checks.
I can just about feel your belly, missus.
The news of Paquita's pregnancy is particularly heartwarming because last year she lost her baby son Raul in a tragic accident when he fell and suffered a head injury. The team were devastated, but a delighted Paquita has bounced back.
These guys are very easily stressed, so the best thing we can do for them is just to let them get on with it. Last time she did amazingly. She cleaned up her baby, carried him around and was feeding him by the time we arrived in at work. So fingers crossed everything goes as well this time, and hopefully it won't be too long.
Recently, orangutan Xiao Kuai surprised everyone by giving birth one morning in the middle of her outside enclosure. More often, primates will give birth at night, so it was quite unexpected. The team were thrilled.
We knew that Xiao Kuai was pregnant and was due to give birth sometime, and then, next month or even 2. But the babies arrived, and, we're really pleased about it.
Gordon is the father, and Kai is now a big brother. Everything came naturally to second-time mum Xiao Kuai.
Baby's 6 days old, thriving, pooing, everything, which is a good actually testament to what we wanted to do with this baby. Let them get on with it, leave them alone, let Xiao Kuai rear the baby. We know Xiao Kuai is a great mum, and we so want orangs to be sociable with babies that we have let Xiao Kuai give birth with Gordon, with Kai, with Xiaolan, and let it just happen, and just another day in the life of an orang.
2 months on, and the baby has been named Jin, which means handsome in Chinese. Jin spends his days gripping onto mum as she carries him around.
Little Jin will be staying on his mum, certainly for the next 6 months or so. Most monkeys, apes, the babies are able to hold on to their mother's fur from day one, because obviously most of them live in the trees. This means that the mother needs as many limbs as possible to climb through the trees. Now, with orangutans, they are more arboreal than a lot of other monkeys or apes. They don't really spend any time on the ground at all in the wild. So they're born with quite a ferocious grip in their hands and feet. So even if the mother's moving about quite rapidly, climbing up and down trees, moving across branches, generally, if the baby's healthy, it's able to hold on very, very tightly.
As Xiao Kuai and Jin remain tightly together, Dad Gordon stays well out of the way. He knows when he's not wanted.
Gordon's shaping up as a typical orangutan dad, so he has nothing to do with the baby whatsoever. In the wild, they wouldn't really be in the same area as the babies. The pregnant mother would be off in their own territory, and it's the same deal here. Gordon's not particularly interested in the baby at all.
Kai is adapting well to having a new little brother around.
Maybe the first 2 or 3 weeks he was a little bit curious and also just a little bit put out because he was mum's #1 son, favourite boy and all that kind of thing. But he's now come round to the fact that she's got this new baby. He's settled in quite well.
While mum is busy, Dad Gordon's doing his bit to keep first son Kai amused.
He spent a lot of the time just rolling around, wrestling, chewing each other, biting each other, knocking each other over. Typical boys' games, very, very rough.
But orangs make great mums, and Xiao Kuai still gives Kai plenty of attention. There are 4 chimp groups in the park. Hananyas are one of the youngest and liveliest. The group is led by big boy Hananya. He was 3 years old when he came to Monkey World from Israel in 1996 with 3 other chimps, Gypsy, Tico and Shemak.
They were together like as a group and they knew each other, and they actually lived in the nursery, which is where they met Arthur and Jess, and they got on really well in there.
The dominant male at the time was Rodney, and Hananya soon became his right-hand man.
He's a very good deputy, and he was a very good deputy alongside Rodney. And when, sadly, we lost Rodney passed away, It's Hananya inherited it.
Hananya's is a young group, so it took a while for them to settle and all find their place in the hierarchy. Hananya struggled to assert himself as a strong leader. He even missed out on food, unthinkable for an alpha male in his own group, because he wasn't used to asserting his dominance.
He just got dropped in at the deep end, and I must admit we did wonder whether he was up to it for a long time. And that's unfair, because really we were asking an awful lot of him.
But after his shaky start, and with the support of second-in-command Tico and the two dominant females, Cherry and Peggy, Hananya has firmly established himself as the leader.
They've evolved, and now Hananya's a, big grown-up boy, and he's inherited this group, which was Rodney's group, that's now Hananya's group. Although it hasn't been easy for him, he's done a really remarkably good job.
But in the past few weeks, Hananya's grip on the group has been tested, as maintenance work on their enclosure has forced them all to stay inside.
They've got 2 acres here, 2.5 acres, whatever it is, and that's great for relieving tension.
For the past 2 weeks, Hananya's group have been kept inside while their enclosure is updated. This is quite a challenge for such a boisterous group, and it's leader Hananya's job to keep them under control. When they're released into their renovated enclosure, there's always a risk they might test the security of the new overhang. But the team are well prepared and have installed some exciting new play equipment to surprise the chimps. The new addition that's bound to attract the most attention is their enormous 20-metre hose. The group are itching to get out. So Jeremy does some last-minute checks and the team brace themselves for the release of the chimps. The group are loving being back out in the open. The new hoses and apparatus will challenge their skills and fitness. Some need a bit of practice.
Simon did his thing of hurling himself through the air and coming crashing to the ground.
He's always loved anything acrobatic. Evelyn's really been testing everything, but some of the others as well. Arthur, I was surprised to see. He was being very agile.
But the group seem to be holding back from the new hose. If anyone's going to try it first, it's got to be Hananya. He shows that as the boss, he's also the bravest.
A new toy in the playground. The big kid will always have a go on it until he's bored, and then the goes will filter down the hierarchy. Just look at kids in the playground. It's the little weedy kid who always gets the last go or has to creep up when everybody else has gone home or something to get a go.
Jeremy thinks Hananya did a great job in controlling the group while they were inside.
The group's continuity is actually getting there now. I mean, we've always said how Hananya is not the best leader and blah, 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 blah. And the group was our most volatile group in the park. And they still are, probably. But the fact they've been confined for the last 2 weeks and there's been no issues at all is a great testimony to how this group's getting itself together now. Hananya is the undisputed leader now. I mean, for a long time, he did it by just the fact he was bigger and stronger than anybody else without engaging any brain power. Whereas now, I don't think he's grown a brain, but it isn't disputed, his authority in the same manner as it used to be.
One member of Hananya's gang is not enjoying the enclosure as much as everyone else. Trudy is one of the park's most well-known chimps and has been here for more than 12 years. She was badly mistreated before Monkey World rescued her and started life at the park very nervous and withdrawn. With the right care and attention, Trudy has since thrived and is now one of the most popular members of the group. But sadly, over the last 18 months, she's had continuous bad health.
We just weighed her and she's lost another 2 kilos, and 2 kilos on a little animal like this is significant. So there is, clearly we have some underlying thing happening.
First, the care staff tried to build her weight back up with a series of protein drinks, which seemed to help. But then she developed a swollen, bloated stomach and seems to be in pain again.
We need to do a bit more investigating and find out. I am very concerned for Trudy.
The team are desperate to get to the bottom of Trudy's problems.
We're just monitoring her at the moment, particularly when she's eating, just so we can see if there's certain things in the diet that she's picking out and eating more of than others. And then checking her during the day so we can see whether or not the bloating coincides with her eating more of certain items.
The chimps have a varied diet, so it's going to be a challenge to find out what might be disagreeing with Trudy. First, they cut out wheat. Every other day, the chimps are given a bread ball with essential vitamins. But for the last few weeks, Trudy's been given a rice ball instead. But she remains as bloated as ever. Nothing seems to be helping.
Can you see your belly? Can you feel it? It is rock solid. Oh, does that hurt?
She doesn't look incredibly comfortable when she's walking around with this huge belly, so we'd like to alleviate that. We're going to try Trudy on a peppermint oil capsule, which is supposed to alleviate bloating, can help with diarrhea, all of the symptoms that we've recently seen with her.
What do you think of this, Trudes? Juice? You're not meant to crunch it, but it smells nice.
Eventually, Trudy swallows the contents of the capsule.
Now we're going to just monitor her closely for the next couple of weeks, see if it's made any difference on how much bloated she is.
The team are pinning their hopes on the peppermint capsule. If Trudy shows no sign of improvement, they'll have to go back to the drawing board. Orangutans are extremely intelligent and inquisitive. In the wild, they have to investigate everything to find food in a difficult habitat and to collect building materials for their nests each night. They often find ingenious ways of using a whole host of items. Leaves as an umbrella to shelter from the rain, and a stick as a tool. Some orangs that have been captive and then released into the wild have shown just how bright they are by copying human behaviour. It's one thing to get in a boat, quite another to know how to paddle it. So, at the park, they're given a variety of objects. Their clever minds mean you never know what they'll get up to. And today, it's pillowcases. When there's something new in the enclosure, Linga is always interested. As the female in charge, Arme has bagged herself a pillowcase already and suspects that there might be something inside. Linga's decided it's a perfect play item. Teenager Xiao Ning is far too cool to be bothering with pillowcases. Arme's not impressed to find hers is empty. But Linga's still having fun. Young Dinda's dropped hers, and big sister Xiaoning grabs it. Funny, she didn't want one earlier. Clever Linga uses it as a sunshade. Meanwhile, in the hammock, Dinda's stolen Arme's pillowcase to make a nest. But as ever, Arme's one step ahead and has bagged herself another one. The newest orangutan arrival at the park has also been using her intelligence to great effect. And it's got Jeremy in a bit of a sweat, drilling, screwing, welding, bolting, double bolting. And here's why. Oshine. This DIY queen has been busy taking apart her bedroom during the night.
Overnight, she started dismantling the enclosure. You know, she's a very technical lady. She can undo nuts and bolts.
She's been in the park less than 24 hours. After a mammoth 27-hour journey from South Africa, you'd think she'd be a little tired, but apparently not.
She took down the cat flap and then she used that material to break the camera. So, oh dear. If you're going to wreck anything, the camera's the best thing to wreck, in my opinion. The thing is, she can get away with it, I can't.
So Jeremy's got his work cut out to make sure Oshine can't dismantle the tunnel when he lets her out.
We're just making sure that there's no nuts and bolts that Oshine can undo. And obviously she's a strong lady, so she doesn't need a spanner. So we're just putting a little bit of weld on each nut, then we can let her into the bigger area, and we're not in danger that she's going to take nuts out, nuts off the bolts and dismantle the place.
When Oshine was in South Africa, she spent a lot of time in a workshop and loved playing with screws, bolts and keys.
It always amazes people, but it's just a fact. Orangs can do all these things. If you give an orang a spanner, he will undo the nut. And they're not remarkable, it's just what they do.
At the moment, Oshine is living on her own, but is due to move in with Arme and the nursery group. Everything needs to be super secure, so it's time to test Jeremy's handiwork by releasing Oshine into the outside tunnel.
At least she can get a little bit of sunshine on her. So she's telling me she wants this door opened. Well, this one. You sure? No. Well, that one. No, you're going to break your teeth.
Jeremy's reinforced bolts are proving tricky, but clever Oshine has got a plan B.
She knows, you see, if she puts the blanket around the nut and then tries to do it with her teeth, that she can get a better purchase on it.
Jeremy's bolts are holding firm, so Oshine makes one last desperate attempt. But admits defeat and heads back inside. Now Jeremy's made the tunnel secure, the Monkey World team are reinforcing the nursery playroom, so Oshine can't take that apart when she moves in.
Oshine has learnt to do this by watching people in the workshop back in South Africa. Well, of course, if she starts doing it now, she will just train our chaps to do it. They will learn off her, the same she's learned off of the guys working in South Africa. We're well on schedule now. There's no reason why we can't get this Oshine proof by tomorrow morning.
Next time on Monkey Life, it's night feeds and nappies for Mike as he collects his latest foster baby.
Mine's a gibbon life for the next few months.
And new arrival Fidget settles into his new home.